Welcome to Running on Reddit. Has someone ever challenged you to something that they didn't know you are an expert at? If so, how did it turn out for you/them? I was out skating in my driveway one day, practicing a difficult trick, for me, over a 6-inch tall board. I had it on its side, trying to land the trick from only 6 inches in height, and I kept screwing it up for a good hour. If I recall correctly, I was trying to land a 360 heel flip, and I always had trouble with that trick cause I skate goofy to begin with. My neighbor must have been watching because he comes out, grabs the board I'm jumping over, and turns it on its side so now it's 2 feet tall. He pulls a $100 bill out of his wallet and says, "If you can jump over the board and land it, then I'll give this to you." What he didn't know is that I was crappy at the trick I was practicing, but among my skater friends, I was known for my ridiculous ollie height. I'm not very tall, but I could put my knees to my chest in a jump and clear 30 inches regularly. So I took the bet, backed way off, took a running start, cleared the board, stuck the landing and came to a screeching sideways stop about 6 inches from him. He knew he got played, and just laughed while he gave me the money. Good thing too, cause I needed a new deck right then pretty badly. Hey! 90% of you who watch our videos aren't subscribed. Hit the button to help the channel grow. Mine's kind of dumb, but I think it still counts. At work I'm kind of the Google Sheets expert, and I make lots of tools for different departments to use. Enter new guy who needed to collect, aggregate and display a bunch of data. My boss was like, send Wish a calendar invite so you can tell her what you want and she'll set it up for you. New guy was having none of that and insisted he was going to do it himself. Well, a week later, he finally has this crappy sheet that doesn't have half the information we need, and we have to have the numbers for the state by tomorrow. So my boss asks me to fix it, and new guy is like, yeah, okay, that's not really possible. This is as good as it's going to get. 2 hours later, I send them both a fully functional and automated sheet that does everything we need, and we'll be able to use it indefinitely, which means next time, and every time, the stupid state report is due, it will already be done. New guy was like, I would have added that in if I'd had more time. New guy sucks. I don't understand these people that cannot admit that someone did something much better than they did, and compliment them. Plus, his excuse is basically admitting that his time management is crap. Thanks for figuring out Google Sheets, and helping everyone in your work. After that final dig, I would never help him again. If you need more time, then that's a management problem. I once went to a museum with my sister and her friend, who I hadn't met before. We got to the Greek art bit and her friend started telling me how she was super into Greek myth, and I thought that was cool, because I was, unbeknownst to her, doing a master's in it at the time and also keeping a blog of myth retellings, which was pretty popular, and it was a relief to have something in common with this stranger. She then got weirdly haughty, and told me she probably knew more myths than I did. So, being polite, I didn't challenge her on it and just asked her to tell me her favorite, so that we could have a conversation about it. She proceeded to tell me the myth of Daedalus and the Minotaur. I asked her how she'd heard of that one, because it's fairly obscure. She told me she had read it on a viral blog post on a blog about mythology. It was my blog. A buddy of mine was at a concert in bad seats and started complaining about it via Twitter. All of a sudden, the band starts reading some tweets and calls my friend up to sit on stage for a couple songs. They sit him at the piano and during the next song, they jokingly go, "Okay. Piano solo." The crowd laughs for a second, but then my buddy just starts jamming out, as he plays piano in his band. Talk about dreamed moment getting to play with your favorite band. Reminds me of an awesome YouTube video from a couple years back. In a Keith Urban concert, this young dude gets called up on stage, since his girlfriend was holding up a sign saying it's his birthday wish to play guitar with Keith. For those that don't know, Keith Urban is an amazing guitar player. Anyway, The dude gets up there and Keith hands him his guitar. Pretty much everyone expecting either a choke job or a mediocre attempt, but the dude proceeds to freaking shred. Keith was like, "What the duck?" And he immediately calls back the band, who had just gone on break, and they play the full song with the dude owning the all parts including the solo. Just an amazing gotcha moment in front of probably 15,000 people. While I'd never claim I was an expert, I used to be pretty damn good at pool. My aunt and uncle had a pool table downstairs, and my parents, for a variety of reasons, would go over regularly and spend all day there. There was nothing else for us, me and my brother, to do, so we just played pool all day for years. Eventually, we got bored and saw that he had a book on trick shots, so we started doing that for fun. Never really mastered them, but they made for really good practice in understanding how to get the ball to do what you want. So anyway, for my buddy's 28th birthday he wanted to go to a pool hall and invited a ton of people. Then he told everyone it was going to be a tournament, drinks for individual games, and a 50-50 type of deal for the winner. He gets half regardless because it was his birthday, insisted I come, and I caved eventually. Get there, first game, they break, and that was the only shot they got. Rest of mine were pretty similar. At the end I just looked at him, told you not to invite me. Found out after that a bunch of them had never even played pool before, felt pretty bad, so I took the money and bought everyone drinks with it. A guy I went on a date with tried to serenade me with his okay piano skills. He was incredibly patronizing to me and tried to explain to me what the notes were, even when I told him I'm also a pianist. So after his endless explanations, I asked him to move over on the bench so I can try to play. I'm a two-time Carnegie Hall pianist. He never called me back afterwards. Worth it. A neighbor on my block in Brooklyn challenged me to a pizza bake-off. I recently catered pizza for my daughter's school, and word got around the neighborhood my pizza was pretty darn good. My first thought was, this guy is a Brooklyn native, my pizza will be crap compared to his. But there was something about him bragging that I couldn't resist the challenge. He talked up how pizza was in his blood, how his dad ran the pizza place around the corner years ago. I remained silent and let my skills answer for themselves. I got a buddy to let us use one of the baker's pride ovens at his restaurant. We even had total strangers try our pizzas. Every last person chose my pizza over his. I never mentioned to him that I've worked in pizza places almost every day for the last 30 years. I never mentioned that when I'm not working at a pizza place, I'm making pizzas at home at least once every 2 days. I never mentioned that at 9 years old I knew that I wanted to be a pizza man. Here I am 45 and getting ready to start my own pizza business. When working as a teacher, I beat a lot of students in Pokemon battles, cause they didn't think of me being like 15 years ahead of them in fighting experience. Noobs. I dated a guy in college who was incredibly book smart, working on his master's with the intention to pursue a PhD. I was doing the good old 5-year plan for college and quite content with my level of brainpower compared to his. What he underestimated was my fondness for word games, especially Scrabble. I like to think I'm quite good. Well, in the 3 years we dated, we only played Scrabble once and I beat the crap out of him. The icing on the cake was when I got a 50+ word score for playing one letter. He literally wiped all the letters off the board and had a mini hissy fit, claiming that I cheated. I got out my trusty Scrabble dictionary and proved his loss. Casual players think Scrabble is a word game. Real players know it's an area control game with the dictionary for formations and letters for troops. I'm a mechanic. This happens on a daily basis. One of my favorites from messing with a buddy. I was helping him fix his truck in my garage for free. By helping, I mean I was fixing his truck for free. Me, your map sensor is bad. Them, pretty sure it's the plugs or wires. Me, no, your spark is fine, fuel pressure is fine, air is fine. Your fuel regulation is the issue, which is why there is fuel in your oil. Them, you sure it's not the spark plugs? How do you actually know? Me, hands them a spark plug still hooked up to the coil wire and presses the remote start button. Them, what the ducking hell man? Me, spark is fine isn't it? Them, how much is a map sensor? Not a physical challenge, but I sell building materials for a living, think Home Depot but for guys that build skyscrapers and stadiums. There has been many occasions where an old man, with zero construction knowledge, tries to lecture me on what I do for a living. My favorite, I'm going to get my lawyer to talk to you because you clearly don't know what you're talking about. Cool, so you'll pay someone to call me, so I can read a contract provision off the screen, which I'm doing for you for free right now. Whatever dude. Maybe you don't profess to be an expert in anything, but describe a time where you bested someone who thought they knew more than you. If not that, what is something you are really passionate about?